Hi, Libra. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for September of 2021. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller, and right now I'm in Reading, Pennsylvania. With me is...
Hey, I'm Julia, and I'm located in San Francisco.
So Libra, if this is your sun sign, then your birthday is coming up really fast. You start this month already in your yearly mop-up period. If you can get in a reading before your birthday, it's really optimal. It's a great way to start off your new year right. You'll find a link for that is in the YouTube description below. And even if you can't squeeze it in before your birthday, just doing it near your birthday makes all the difference. Well, let's pull up the horoscope chart. And Julia has some great stuff about your planet Venus, also Mars, and an upcoming Mercury retrograde beginning later on this month. Hey, Julia, take it away.
All right. Well, hey there, Libra. I'll begin with Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships. She begins the month and spends the first third of the month in your first house of self. And that's a really wonderful place to have Venus because Venus is going to be adding a little extra beauty and charm to your appearance. It's a wonderful time for taking photos of yourself if you need them for anything. Wonderful time for getting a haircut, starting a new beauty regimen, because you're really going to be embodying those Venus vibes. Then on September 10th, Venus is going to move into your second house of income and possessions as well. So this is going to be, a great period if you'd like to do a little bit of shopping, acquire more new things, or even if you have to sort of sell some old things to get some new things. Venus coming into the second house is definitely going to add a little bit of luck for you, especially if you're buying Venus related things, which could include beauty stuff, fashion stuff, art stuff, or even luxury items. Then Mars, the planet of action and activity, begins the month in your 12th house, the most isolated house in the zodiac, and it's going to stay here for the first half of the month. So with Mars in the 12th, Mars, wherever we have Mars is where we have drive, and it can also express where our anger is. So you'll be a lot more inclined to being passive aggressive during this cycle, sort of not being open about your anger. And Libra, for the most part, you tend to want to be the nice guy or nice gal, and not sort of ruffle too many feathers. So you'll be kind of keeping all that to yourself, but just make sure you don't blow up at the wrong person at the wrong time too. Then on September 14th, Mars moves into your first house, and that's when you're no longer going to be keeping all that anger to yourself. With Mars in the first house, we tend to embody that Mars energy by being a lot more assertive, by being a lot more direct with people. So just make sure that you're standing up for your boundaries well. That's a very, very good use of this transit, but just don't go overboard either, because Mars has a tendency to kind of run away with things.
Yeah,
and then
you have to appear in court or, do a mediation or a negotiation of any kind. Wait till Mars moves into Libra.
that's actually a really nice idea, because that will help you sort of, be able to kind of navigate conflict a little bit more easily by being very aware of the other person. Yeah, I think that's great advice. Mercury, the planet of communication, wherever we have it, it represents where we're spending a lot of our mental energy. And Mercury is going to stay all month in your first house. This is the house of self, but it will be going retrograde at the end of the month on September 26th. But with Mercury in the first house, up until the 26th, it can be a good time for sort of using words to express yourself well. You'll be a lot more articulate if you have to make any sort of first impression on someone where you really have to kind of impress them with your mind and words. It's a very good time for that. And when Mercury goes retrograde at the end of the month, you might find that you're getting a lot more misunderstood by people. And that cycle will continue into next month, and we'll definitely cover it in our next series of videos as well.
Awesome. So there are a couple of moons I want to tell you about and a season change beginning on the 8th. Let's see. I think that's right. Oh, no, a little earlier than that. So here it is. Moon and sun together in around 14 degrees of Virgo in your 12th house. And the 12th house is a house of the unconscious. It's a house of that stuff that's kind of buried pretty deep that we're not generally aware of all the time. And I think that Virgo has a pretty strong tendency to worry. And, whoops.
Sorry.
and and so you might find yourself becoming preoccupied with disorder, pockets of disorder in your life, whether that is more physical, like in terms of your closets or your garage or your basement or your attic or, every corner of every room, perhaps, or whether it's even more psychological, sort of putting your house in order in a more emotional and internal way. But either way, this moon is a really good time to start things like that because, new moons have to do with birth. Now, we're calling this moon being weird your own way, but also relatable. And the reason for that is because of the way that this moon forms a lovely trine to Uranus. And Uranus, brings up those themes of eccentricity. But when Uranus is involved in a harmonious way, as it is under this moon, you don't have to feel weird about being weird. You can just kind of, be yourself. And that's a really nice feeling. There's more to this moon. It's actually a fairly complex one, but I would refer you to the video that we made about it, which is in our September 2021 news playlist on our Pandora Astrology YouTube channel. And you can dig into that and find out more about how to handle this moon. I want to tell you about the other moon that's coming up on the 20th. And this one is a full moon in Pisces. And there it is, falling right there in your 6th house. Now, this moon has a lot of harmony wrapped up with it, which is great. It's also a lot less complex. Pluto is involved. Pluto forms this harmonious sextile to the moon and a trine to the sun. Now, full moons have an oppositional quality because of the way that the sun and the moon are opposite each other during a full moon. That's just baked in. And thus conflict can sometimes come out in our relationships. In this particular case, the sun in Virgo can be kind of perfectionistic, maybe even critical and demanding, whereas the moon in Pisces could find itself feeling permeable, lacking boundaries, maybe, empathetic, but maybe even too much so. But Pluto is here to help. Pluto brings a quality of depth and also a quality of empowerment to this moon. So what we said about it in the video, which you can also find in the September playlist on our YouTube channel, is that this moon could be a really great time for revealing secrets that you've been holding on to, or a healthy psychological catharsis. Hopefully not a dramatic situation, but like, an actual emotional release that you may have needed. Things coming to the surface and it doesn't even have to hurt. So this moon is really good for that sort of stuff. Now, the last thing I want to tell you about is that a few days after this, along about the 22nd, 23rd, the sun is going to move into Libra and we start a new season and a whole new quarter of the year. Useful to know about for tax purposes, obviously, practical purposes, but Libra is a season that is characterized by a quality of cool beauty and also the ongoing harvest, which really began in Virgo and isn't quite done until after Scorpio. So the harvest continues and it's a season of beauty, so bring some of that into your life as well. Well, that's the good stuff we've got for you today, Libra. I hope you enjoyed it. You can always find us online at pandoraastrology.com, where you can take classes, get readings, check out your horoscope, and also see the monthly forecast. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.